it's Darby from rejoiceandcreate.com. Thanks for stopping by today. Well, I was trying to find a different way to do a candy cane treat holder, and this is what I came up with. I wanted to find a shepherd, and I was looking through different punch out shepherds, and wasn't one that I really kind of liked, so I went ahead and created one of my own, and I'll show you how to do that. And I used a little sheep that is out there. There's punch out sheep that are out there all over the place, and they're very adorable, and I'll show you how I did that one too, so you can see that one as well. But I made a little bit of a door hanger, so you can hang it on someone's door on Christmas morning, or a neighbor or a coworker, perhaps on their desk drawer. And I think it's a fun way to gift a candy cane while still remembering the reason that we celebrate Christmas. Alright, so you need a piece of cardstock that is 8 inches by 3.5 inches, and on one of the ends of the 8 inch, just score 2 half-inch segments, so score it a 1/2 inch and 1 inch. Now I created this one 3 inches wide, and I had a little bit of the cardstock sticking through on both sides. I actually made my pattern paper a little bit bigger because I didn't want it quite so big on the sides like that. So this one is just under 3.5 inches wide by just under 7 inches tall, because that's where it's going to fit right above that score line. And now let me show you a diagram board that I have for the pieces I used for both the shepherd, and I'll show you one for the sheep as well. Alright, so these are the pieces I need for my shepherd. I started with an oval that was 2 3/4 by 1 7/8, a circle for the face that was 1 1/4 inches, 2 circles for the hands, which were 1/2 inch each, and then for the tunic I used the same color, same pattern paper I used for the headdress as I did for the tunic part, which was 4 inches by 2 inches, and then for the overcoat, and you see that here, you'll see 2 strips down the front, and then you'll see the 2 sleeves. I used 3/4 inch strip that were 4 inches wide, so you need 2 of them for the front parts of the overcoat, and then you'll need a 3/4 inch by 2.5 inch for the arm that hangs down, and a 3/4 inch by 4 inch for the arm that will wrap around the candy cane, because as you see, as it wraps around, you will see that underside, and I want it to look consistent. So I had to make it a little longer and then just tuck that part under. So you would score that at 2.5 inches for the sleeve, and that extra 1.5 inches gets glued under. Alright, so let me show you how we do this. We put the face onto the back of the oval, and go ahead and cut the bottom 3/4 inches off the oval, and that's what I used for the front part. Now if you want to put like a wrap, sometimes they'd tie their headdress on, I just used a 1/4 inch strip for the headband part of it, and then you'll just glue that right to the front. For the sleeves, I had the one that was 3/4 inch by 2.5 inches, and I'll go ahead and glue the 1/2 inch circle just right under the end, so it looks like a hand sticking out. And I went ahead and rounded the tops of both of the sides. You could just cut it round, or you can use a corner rounder, or you can feed it through a 1 inch punch and just punch the circled part of it on top. For the other arm, the arm that holds the candy cane, I went ahead and folded that 1.5 inch under and glued it. And like mine, if it sticks out a little bit, just trim the side of that. Okay. And then we'll just go ahead and glue this hand underneath the end of the sleeve. Of course, yours won't have the mark on it. Mine just wanted to show you where it was. Okay. And again, for that sleeve, I also rounded the top on both sides. For the 3/4 inch by 4 inch strips, the part where the coat that hangs down the front, I just rounded the outside corner of each of them, so that when I put them on my tunic, it would look like it was the front part of the coat. And for the tunic part, I rounded the 2 top corners. Alright, so let's put this little guy together. So what I did is I put this one, I matched the shoulder up, and I kind of just shifted the bottom out a little bit, so it kind of angled out at the bottom a little. I like the way that looked, because sometimes the coats, you know, will flare out at the bottom. Same with this one. So all you need is glue to about down there. Okay, on this sleeve, I just went ahead and attached it right where the top of the sleeve would be and let it hang down. And on this one, I kind of angled it out a little bit more because when I curve it back, I want it to curve around that candy cane. So we're going to put it at a bit of a bigger angle as we come out from the arm. All right, so let me go ahead and glue the head part of it. And I didn't put any features on my shepherd. I didn't put any eyes or nose or mouth or anything because I don't draw that well. I kind of like it the blank look, but you're welcome to put them on if you want to. And that makes the shepherd with his headdress. And then what I did is I just put some glue down here. And I just put that underneath it, and I barely put the chin right on top of the tunic part of it. And because I wanted to make it look like he had a belt tied around his waist, I just went ahead and tied a knot in a piece of twine and put that right in the center. I probably will trim those just a wee bit before I put it together. Oh, one thing that I noticed I did wrong with this one is because it's going to wrap around, I actually want to put this onto the front part of it like this. Because when you bring it around the back, or when you bring it around the candy cane like this, then it will look like it's inside the sleeve. So I forgot to do that one, so I pulled that off. And make sure you put it, this one goes underneath the bottom of the sleeve, this one goes on the top of the sleeve, because when you fold it over, it will be underneath it and look like the hand is in the sleeve. All right, so that's my shepherd. All right, so I mentioned this is not my design. There's lots of these out on the internet and they're adorable, every single one of them. But let me show you what I did with mine. I used a 2-inch scalloped circle punch. For the legs, I used the classic label punch, and I just trimmed a bit off the point to make it look more like a foot, like that. But if you don't have the word window or the classic label, all you need is a 3/8 inch strip by 2 inch long of cardstock. And I cut that the same way as the classic label punch would look if I just took the tip off the end of it. And that's what my feet were. For the ears, I used a 1/2 inch circle punch cut in half. And for the face, I used an oval. And this is an old punch I have, but you can look and see what oval you have, or even a circle would be cute. This one is 1 3/4 inches by 7/8 of an inch, and it's cut in half, and half is used for the face. For the wool on the top of the head, I used 3 little flower punches out of white, and you can use what you have: clouds, flowers, circles, whatever you have, you can go ahead and use for that. And you just glue down the oval, glue down the ears, and then glue down whatever you're using for the wool on the head over the top of it. Glue the feet underneath it, and you have an adorable little sheep. Now I just drew the eyes on, and what I use is I use a Uniball Signo pen in white, and for me it makes the most opaque marks on dark cardstock. You can punch a 1/8 of an inch circle from white for your eyes, or use some googly eyes as well, which would be rather cute. All right, so let's put this all together and make our little treat holder. All right, so I have my cardstock, 8 inches by 3.5 inches, scored 1/2 an inch and 1 inch on one end. Just go ahead and fold and burnish those. It just gives us the little lip for the candy cane to sit on. And I am going to round the tops of my pattern paper as well as my cardstock. The last one I used a decorative corner punch. You could do that as well. And let's just attach that. All right, so I'm just going to line the top part inside barely because I made a very, very small reveal on this one. I just made it just slightly smaller than the 3.5 inches. Okay, so I have that, and I think that's really pretty. And this paper is from the Yuletide Blessings paper pack, which I've been using because I like that one. And I got it at Hobby Lobby. All right, so let's go ahead and put our shepherd on, and I'm going to just put him just so this hangs off just a wee bit. But when I put my candy cane down, it'll sit there like this, and he'll reach around and hold on to it. And as you can see, by putting the hand on this side of it, when you reach him around to hold on to it, it will look like the hand is in the sleeve. Okay, so I'll go ahead and snug that down a little bit too. And let me glue him on. And you can put him up on dimensionals as well if you want. Okay, to prepare the candy cane, let me bring my other one back in so you can see what I'm doing. As I went ahead and tied some twine on it, and I threaded a jingle bell in because I thought that looked really kind of nice. And I'm using one of these bells that I got 50 for $1 at the Dollar Tree. They have 4 colors and 2 different sizes of bells in right now. So all their Christmas stuff is coming out, and they have gold, silver, red, and green if you want to get some. So I just threaded this through. And then I tied a knot on the top of it. Okay, then I went ahead and holding my jingle bell on there, I wrapped it a couple times this way, and then I wrapped it a couple times this way, and went ahead and tied a bow. Let me get the right way here. And don't worry if you're not quite up where you want it yet, it will slide up and down. All right, so I've got my bow. Let me tuck it in just a little bit. And then slide it way up to the top where you want it. And let me just trim off the tails a little bit. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just rest it there on that bottom and put it where I want to be. Okay, so when I have it lined up where I want it to, I'm going to put a glue dot right underneath where the candy cane crosses his shoulder. And then I'll angle that down again. And I wanted to sit it right where it kind of rests on the bottom of that little ledge. And then I'm going to put another glue dot right where his hand is going to hold on to the candy cane. So let me put it actually right on his hand. And we'll bend that right over and hold on to the candy cane. And the last thing I'm going to do is put a dot right where the front of this will fold onto. Before I wanted to do that, I actually wanted to round these 2 corners. Okay, now that they're rounded, I'm going to actually put a glue dot right where this will come in front on the candy cane. Okay, so I'm just going to put the little sheep on over here, and I'm going to glue his feet to the front of my little lip there, and then stick him down with a glue dot onto the candy cane. All right, so let me go ahead and put my hanger on, and you can put a ribbon on here as well, or you can, oh, that was a way skinny one. You can put a ribbon on here as well. You can use this on the front of a card or a package as a tag. All right, and for the sentiment on this one, I'm going back to my sticker envelope seals, which says "Have a Blessed Christmas," and I got these at Hobby Lobby. And I'm just going to put it on the top with some greenery around it. So I hope you like these punch art creatures, the little lamb that of course wasn't my idea, it's on the internet, but the little shepherd that you could use. Now there is one difference between there. This one I glued right down on the backing, this one I actually popped up, and you know, I think I might like the popped up one a little bit better. And because I popped him up, I actually tied this twine around the middle of my shepherd, and then I actually popped up these two pieces of the coat instead. So it gave a little bit more dimension. Perhaps you can go ahead and see that. There's a little bit more dimension on the first one than I did. But I hope you enjoy this project and give it a try. And certainly you can use your little shepherd for cards or gift tags or any other thing you want to put him on. If you like the video, please subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to be notified of new videos as I upload them. For more information, please go to rejoiceandcreate.com. And as always, until we meet again, I hope your days are blessed. Bye!